Is new construction dead in Oxford County? I'm not sure. We're going to find out today. Our man Jay is here with the stats. Welcome back to the Jennifer Gale Real Estate Team channel. Like and subscribe, link in the description. Some good info today. You're going to want to hear it. So Jay, it's before the Super Bowl. I notice you're not wearing a shirt that you said you were hoping to wear.
I was so hoping to wear it, but unfortunately the Bills are not going into the Super Bowl this year again.
They're actually out pretty soon after we did the last
Fairly
one.
early, yeah. Yeah.
So
that's unfortunate. But
yeah, it's unfortunate, but it happens. I can't
year.
talk. My team got blasted in the first round, so whatever.
Yeah. Next year.
Next year. It's always next year. New coach, new staff. You never know.
That's right.
Okay, let's go. What's going on since last month? So we're going to talk about January, I guess. So post holiday. Is it sleepy? Is it active? What's going on?
It's sleepy, unfortunately.
Sleepy? Okay.
Yeah. Even for active listings, we had 110 at the end of December. There was 108 at the end of January. So, and again, I always preface this is single family detached homes, not condos, not townhouses, not semis, that kind of thing. So just single family detached homes. So 110. So we're pretty much the
similar.
Same. Yeah, pretty much the same, right? But sales. So sales dropped by over 50%. We had 32 sales in December, and there's only 21 total sales in January. So sales, people have been hibernating.
Yeah. Do you think it's cold.
Yeah.
In the 20 years I've been doing this, weather weirdly has like an effect on people getting out and looking at houses. And when it's minus 20, they tend to not want to as much as
even open houses. We've seen open house attendance drop too, right? So they always say only serious buyers are right now, and it's stats are showing that.
It's showing it.
Yeah.
What are prices doing?
So prices, again, we talk about average and median. So I'll give you both stats. Average, actually, the price has gone up for the last 3 months for average.
Okay.
November was 617. December was 636,000, and January was almost $650,000 for the average price. However, the median has gone down. So went from 618,000 in November to 636,000 in December, to the median of 600,000 in January.
And you think the median is a more accurate indicator of average sale price?
Yeah, it takes away all those anomalies. Like for instance, December had a one household for $1.1 million. Nothing else even came close to that. That drives your average up.
Yeah, if it's a couple $100,000 more than the next, then
that's right.
Yeah.
Your median tells you a little more accurate. And again, it goes, the more sales, the more accurate that is as well. You're down to 21 sales. If you get down to a lower number, even that median kind of, you got to look at the actual individual houses. But yeah, it's I usually go by median for that.
Now I'm looking at the next column here, and this is a thing we've talked about before, strategy wise, as far as holding offers, offer dates, that kind of thing. You're any particular person looking to get that bidding war. What's this telling us?
Oh, there's only 2 houses. So December is the same as January. Only 2 houses sold at or over asking. Some of the stats, if you look at just the stats, they'll show you there's higher than that, but I go by original listing price. Some of these houses were relisted. So if you go with a relisted price, a few more did sell over asking, but the original list price from what they tried from September, October till now, only 2 houses sold at or over asking, and I don't believe there was one house that held offers.
Which
last month.
Again, like in our world, we always look at that original list.
That's right.
As the true barometer of what somebody was trying to accomplish and do.
Yeah.
So this means that even if somebody listed at $650 originally and then reduced it down to $599.9 and got $605, that's not counting in your books.
No, that's not counting.
Right. And nor should it, but I guess they always say you can skew the numbers however you want them to look.
I've seen realtors do it lately. Said, sold over asking. Yeah, on your third try, third kick at the cat. You're
100 days on the market, sold over asking.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so you love this one. We talk about this one almost every week. Total profit loss.
Yeah. So again, a lot goes into it. How long somebody's owned the house. Most of the losses, as you know, are for people that have owned the houses for 5 years or less. The biggest loss for the last month was $118,000. So unfortunately, as you remember, December, there was a $661,000 loss. So
Yeah.
it's quite a drop from that. The biggest gain was almost $600,000. That was because the last stat shows they bought it in 1976 for $0. So, they've had the house for 45 years, 50 years. So is that a true number? I'm sure they didn't pay nothing for it, but it probably paid 15 or 20,000. So it's pretty close. And the average gain of all of them was $211,000. So, and I compare that with average length of home ownership versus average gain. So $211,000, you're making pretty good money in
Over
real
8
estate.
years, which we'll get to later, but 8 years average time to own a house. Average amount of money you're making is a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Real estate's still a pretty good investment.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is. And again, we always talk about we have to look at individual houses. Did somebody put new granite, spend $100,000 on the kitchen to get that increase in value? But
if it was like an inherited house.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You're really going to gain.
Yeah.
Profit loss per year.
Yeah. So that 118,000, I think they owned it for 3 years. It was $41,000 was the average, the biggest loss per year for that. The biggest gain was $36,500. So somebody's owned their house and made huge profits off that. The average gain is $14,212. So no matter what, unless you bought in the last 5 years and you're trying to sell today, you're making money, good money.
Who's calling you, Rachel? Or we have 3 phones set up here, and one is a borrowed one, one's Rachel's, 2 are Rachel's, one's a borrowed one, and I think somebody's trying to call us.
Yeah. So,
which adds to the flavor of it.
That's a question. Any questions?
But as we do this month after month, and as these things grow, so I'm looking at average gain November, December, January, but the more months you add, the more that becomes a picture
That's
of
right.
like a pattern, right?
Yeah.
So hard to just kind of snapshot 1 month over the rest because, anomalies can happen, especially in low sales months.
100%. Yeah.
So, okay, let's go days on market. This is another one that I think you do really well as far as weeding through the BS that we'll say, as far as like the relists and the, I sold it in 3 days, but actually it was 90 because you relisted it 4 times.
Yeah.
So
this number actually went up quite a bit this month. Average days on market for the 21 sales was 66 days. Median was 67. So that's a very close number. So that's a good indicator. That's what's reported.
Yeah.
From the current listing to the sale. But when you average out with all the relists, we're at almost 109 days on market with relists. And the median is 92. So we're 3.5 months on the market for your house when people are reporting, it could be 2 months. Your average is 66 days. Well, if it's priced right and you follow the strategies we provide, it probably is 66 days.
Yeah.
But and so last month average was 80 days, went to 108 days. Again, it's January.
So you're thinking, that, and we talked about it probably in December and, the end of January, that sleepy time, like you're almost, houses do sell.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them sell. Like you had a great sale a year ago in that Christmas time. And so did I actually this year. I had a house that sold in between Christmas and New Year's. However, on average, that 2 weeks and then maybe the first 2 weeks, that's a month. You're almost adding 30 days to a lot of listings just automatically from being holidays.
Yeah.
Days on market.
Yeah.
If they didn't take it off, put it back on.
That's right. And December and January, I think we've seen a little more with sellers that are willing to take a little bit less potentially. So that's why these longer listings, they're the ones that are selling. Yeah. That's why now, so that, in my opinion, that's what drives up that number in end of December, January is longer days on market. People are now I'm going to have to sell.
They're tired and they just want to, or they've planned something for the spring and now the rubber's hitting the road.
That's right.
Average length of ownership, we touched on 8 years.
That was last month, yeah, and it's the same this month. So right now, it looks like especially in Woodstock, average length of home ownership is around 8 years. Median average. I know it's 14, 12. We had one was on for 47 years, one's on for 50 years. That drives that average way up. When you look at the median number, that's last 2 months have been 8 years as the median. So people holding that long, they're making money off their homes.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Still a good investment.
that's right.
Next, properties that relisted, sold, reductions, all that stuff, kind of related to days on market. Right?
That's right. So properties that relisted before they're sold, the 33% of those had to be relisted before they sold. So a third of the properties with price reductions, over 50% of the homes had a price reduction, and 30% of had a relist and a price reduction. So we're hovering around 30% for the last 3 months. So that stat, properties with both, you're looking at around 30% of everything that's sold has had a price reduction and a relist.
So obviously we know, we've touched on it before, pricing is not an exact science. If you're sitting there with a seller at the kitchen table and you're talking strategy, we want to list it as close to market value as we can. Depending on the house, we give a range, and even being on the lower end of that range is probably in this market best.
Yes, definitely.
But if somebody, we have no problem with somebody trying to get that higher price, especially maybe if the property's got some unique characteristics that maybe you can't get a lot of places. Mm-hmm. What's your advice to a timeline for a reduction?
I always, when I go to my listing appointments, I always say within 2 weeks.
We know.
We'll know, right? If there's stats out, if there's no action at all, you're 8 to 10% overpriced. No showings, no. January might be a little bit different because not as many buyers, but still, if you've had no action, you're 8 to 10% overpriced. So I always say 2 weeks. That way it just opens it up, so I don't have to shoot like what time. 2 to 3 weeks from now, we'll sit down, we'll discuss, when we go over listing reports, discuss the activity been on the house and what we can do to.
And we get feedback from sellers in those discussions that say, well, like, nobody's even seen the house yet. How can they say it's overpriced? Well, when it's on MLS, on realtor.ca, and we've done our Instagram, and literally tens of thousands of people have seen it. Yeah. If nobody wants a private showing, that's telling you something.
That's right. And we do reverse prospecting too to agents that have had their clients set up. So all those things, and if you don't have any showings, that is the indicator.
Yes. It's not like your house is bad or anything, but it's the market telling us you need to maybe adjust.
Yeah. And if we didn't have great photos and all that kind of stuff, okay, maybe, but there's really no justification for no showings. Right. It's not your photo, especially from our group, it's not your photos. It's not marketing. It's your price.
Let's jump to bank sales, because that's something we touched on last time. There was very few last month we did. Has that increased, decreased?
Yeah, so December there was one bank sale that happened, and in January in Woodstock there was 2 bank sales of detached homes plus 1 condo sale. So those sales jumped up, but that's not necessarily because of more listings. It's just, again, same thing, whether they had reduced their price to a more reasonable price, but there was a few more sales for bank sales.
So it's creeping up maybe.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple in the pipeline that I'm aware of that are probably coming, and so we'll see how that shakes out.
So with that, there's the 3 things that we're looking at. The bank sales.
Okay. Yeah.
I do estate sales.
Yeah.
It's one of those stats that I just look at. Sometimes it depends on the time of year, but estate sales, there was 4 estate sales last month, and new construction, whether it's towns, semis, detached, there was no new construction sales reported on the MLS. So that kind of surprised me because we've seen more new listings for new construction.
So that was in our intro. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
New construction, is it dead?
Well, we've seen more listings come on, so we know builders are building. They're starting to build
which
again.
is good. That's always a good indication.
Yeah, it's starting to build. We had that new incentive come out. I don't know if it's 100% in place for new first-time home buyers. They can get almost a full HST rebate. It hasn't translated into sales yet. And that's why, is it still just that price range just above a first-time home buyer that's they're not hitting? Did the HST rebate not really trigger anything in the market? Because so there is, in Woodstock, there's 14 single family detached homes plus 16 towns and semis that are on the market. So 30 new build homes on the market, and there wasn't one sale last month.
Yeah, and they've been it's not like they all got listed last week, right?
No,
they've been
there's some relists again. There's probably 4 or 5 new ones that were listed, but for the most part, it's relisted and
good builders. Nothing wrong with the builders.
No,
they're good houses. We toured one. Drew Brothers had one.
Yep.
They're a good local builder.
That's right. 100%.
It's just, and I mean, maybe the extra couple things you got to do to a new house right now when the market and the economy is not great, as far as have to put appliances in and just a lot of the other things, like people think ahead and have to put like a driveway and maybe a fence, and lumber's a lot, and they're just thinking of maybe a more ready-made house that's a few years old.
Yeah. But it goes hand in hand. Like right now, we know houses that are fully done with no work needed are selling faster than things that do need work. You just don't want to do the work. And is that, like you just said, is that why? No landscaping, no driveway, everything's done on a house. But this first-time home buyers, they haven't taken advantage of that, I guess, because of the price range, I think.
Yeah. For the record, I don't think we think it's dead.
No,
it's not dead. I mean, builders are
not.
building. That's good. It'll catch up. There's still, like, some of the lots we saw up on Carn Road there have great views, great lots. So they'll go.
Yeah.
It's a little sleepy right now.
Yep, that's
nothing
right.
to be too concerned about yet.
Yeah.
Next.
I like to talk about is local listing agents and local buyer agents.
Yes.
So as we know, everybody likes to keep everything local and talk about local. Well, there's still some people that decide to bring their realtor from Oakville down here to look at houses and list with a realtor from Mississauga that has no vested interest in getting the highest price for your house, or not saying they won't do a great job, but a local agent, you need to have your reputation at stake. You're trying to get the best value for your client, and you're local. So
go to the team channel. We have a whole video on using local agents.
That's
positives, negatives.
Yeah,
go check it out.
All right, that's right. So December, there were 78% of the homes that sold, which was 31 houses. 70% of the houses had local listing agents.
That's good.
Yes, very good. January, that dropped by almost 25%, down to 52%.
That's not good.
No, that's not. That's just sales. So next month I'll look at new listings. How many are using local agents in that? Local buyer agents. So that actually increased a little bit. December, there was 44% of the homes that sold had a local buyer agent. January is 48%.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is.
Usually those are like, there was a time where they first started coming out with that stat. I remember, I don't know, were you in real estate? Probably right around when you were fairly new, the board came out with those stats for the very first time. They gave like a quarterly report, and it was quite disturbing because that was like, it was during COVID, and it was like, oh my God, like we're not even getting 50% of the buyer and seller share of, like, it was crazy. But usually what we saw was, like, obviously more local listing agents, less local buying agents, because the people coming in were bringing their own agents just to buy that house. So this is probably a little indicative of less people are coming from east,
I agree,
to here. So there's just a little bit more shuffling around locally, which is good. I've done way more deals local to local agent in the last 4 to 6 months than I have in 5 years.
Yeah, same here.
Which is good.
I said I had a house listed in Ingersoll. First-time home buyer house, had 4 offers, all from local agents, all from first-time home buyers.
And,
so
the communication's good with, like, it's just easy to know them, and
it is
so much better.
Yeah.
Here's one that you haven't pulled up before. House styles sold.
Yeah, so it's one of those. And another, every month I try and get a different stat in there. And I always, okay, what is the best style house? And the 21 houses that sold, most of them, over half, were 2 stories. 13 of them were 2 stories. No back split sold. We had 6 bungalows, which are always usually popular. 1.5 story, no side splits, and 2 raised bungalows, which, is that a bungalow? Raised
Yeah,
bungalow,
it's always a weird
right?
one.
So you're at pretty much 8. So
2-story, obviously, probably because there's just the most of them, but bungalows always, popular. Can never beat a bungalow.
And next month I'll have the stat of active styles of houses and listings. So that way, so you say, right now I'm 99% sure there's more 2 stories listed by double bungalows, but we'll know those stats next month.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
So I just, trying to predict maybe some future sale prices and that type of thing. I just looked at, in January, at the end of the month, what was the current number of active homes sold conditional, with escape clauses and without escape clauses.
So explain that to the viewers, what generally that would mean.
So if somebody has a house sold, no escape clause, it means that their buyer does not have a house to sell. They just have conditions of financing, home inspection, maybe insurance, could be a few other things, septic, whatever. Home sold with an escape clause means that their buyer has more than likely have a house to sell, and they've given them months, 6 weeks to sell their house.
Adds a layer of glitch to any deal because it's a big question mark.
Yeah. And so I try telling my clients, you got to sell your house first.
Yeah.
Sell it first. Well, you have more buying power.
It's so easier now too, because there's enough inventory where you don't really think somebody's going to be scrambling to find a house.
That's right.
Back when it was reversed, when it was a seller's market and there was low inventory, you're just like, geez, like, you got somebody that only wants a pool in that only school district, and there's very specific, but there's more to choose from. So our recommendation would always be, if you can, takes a little bit of guts, but you're going to save some money.
That's right.
Is sell first, buy second. So you have more power at the negotiating table for sure.
Yeah, we can talk about clauses to put in there if you reach out to one of our Jennifer Gale Team agents.
Absolutely.
And so of the 11 houses that are conditionally sold with or without escape clauses, the average list price of those, because we don't know what the sale price is $555,000. So that's $50,000 or $45,000 below what January's median sale price was. So does that give you an indication of, currently listed selling lower? It could be.
Yeah.
So people talk about our price is going to go down farther. Are they going to stay stable? Last month we said they're going to go down 2 or 3% probably for the next 4 or 5 months. We'll see if that holds true.
Good stuff, man. Good session. Till next time.
Good, brother.
Yep, for sure.
Go Buffalo. Seattle.
Yeah, I don't even care. I don't have a horse in the race. It doesn't really matter to me.
I do not want to see New England Patriots.
I don't think anybody does. They've won enough.
Yeah, that's it.
Done.